as parents or guardians, we have to be very cautious and very careful to what we allow our children to entertain themselves with, whether it be on TV, games, certain types of people that they hang out with, whatever it may be. We have to be very careful. And it's not that you want to hinder them from learning from the darkness. You want them to experience the darkness so that way they can turn it into light in time. But you also don't want to just be like, oh, they need darkness, and then just leave them there. You want to help them, walk them through with the darkness so that way they can understand the light. But the thing is what I'm trying to explain is, if you grew up a certain way that you see now in your adult wisdom, that you wish you were raised a different type of way, say you had way too much freedom to experience way too much inappropriate things at such a young age. Like when I was a young kid, I'm talking about a young kid in my household, we were allowed to watch something like American Pie, like Joe Dirt, etc. These were really bad, inappropriate type of videos that at that age I should have never have been able to see that type of stuff. And it did nothing good for me. It corrupted me. It turned me to have inappropriate thoughts at such a young age. Like the spirit of perversion came in. I was being tainted, and I didn't know what was going on. I felt it was wrong at a young age, but because there was no adult supervision to tell me I couldn't watch this stuff and I was allowed to, it destroyed a part of me growing up, to where it caused all sorts of problems. It caused me to choose a partner in a certain way, thinking that you have to act this type of way to get somebody like you to love you. It just put a very nasty, perverted spirit into me. And so right now, where you are as an adult, all those things that you did to your children, look where your children are. Either they have issues with their marriages, they have issues in their life, they can't do like normal basic things, they can't have a normal basic life, they got all sorts of issues. And this ain't just with movies, this is video games, this is people that were around your kids at a young age that were just bad influences. This could be like growing up in an alcoholic home, growing up in an angry home, growing up in a drug addict home, whatever it may be. Growing up in an adulterous home where you saw physical attributes of cheating in your household on your parents. Like, it could be whatever it is. All those habits, you better be mindful that you're not bringing up your children in that type of way. That you want them to go some different way that you didn't have. If you are feeding them the same thing that you were fed when you were a kid, you're going to perpetuate the generational curse. You're not going to have their best interests at play. So what you want to do is you want to help elevate them. Don't bring them down. You want to elevate their mind. So if you know something is raunchy, something is bad, and it didn't do anything good for you, don't put it in your children's eyes. Elevate them. Tell them they're better than this. Don't let them fall into temptation of lust and pervertedness, because you want to see them succeed in life. You don't want them to be under that type of an energy. That energy, it makes people brain dead upstairs. They can't have a good, healthy relationship with a partner because they're constantly being viewed at like you have to view your partner in such a way. It causes marital issues, marital problems. That's why you got so many divorces, so many things. Like, if you grew up an alcoholic and you saw the way the alcohol disease went on to your children and you got a child around you, don't bring that disease around that innocent child. You want to elevate that mind of that child. Try to evolve their mind from not going into that pattern. It's breaking generational curses. And the only way you could do this is if you're set apart from it. If you are walking in the truth. Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. So anything that's truthful is walking in his statutes, is following what he would want us to follow. That's what it is. Without religion, it's just the facts. It's just the truth. So if you're growing up in an angry home, be the other one that's trying to elevate the child into not being angry. You know, like if you grew up doing drugs, train up the child into not going down that path. If you had a hard time with perversion at a young age, elevate your child to not go down that same path of destruction because it destroyed your relationships. So you want to be mindful of what you feed children. You want to be mindful. You want to be somebody that's a light in their life. You don't want to be that loosey-goosey, oh, I'm the fun type of person. I'll let you do whatever you want, because, yeah, it might be fun because children have a natural desire of curiosity and they will look at that fun. But later on, when they're destroyed completely, their eyes are going to see things in a different perspective. They're going to go to the one that feeds them, that elevates their mind. They're always going to have a special heart, a special place in their heart for the person that elevated them, that saw better potential for their life, that didn't hinder them. There's a big difference. Not hindering them, but gave them that sense of trust to where they can learn, but also you were feeding them and educating their mind and elevating their mind. And yeah, you want to be very careful what you do. And in time, you'll see where that child was and where they're going from being in under your roof. You know, you're going to see a huge change. And you got to remember, maybe there's two people in the household and one of them is showing maybe not the best type of character traits, but the other parent was showing all the great character traits. Other people need to remember that. Just because that kid lives in a household where one of them's unbalanced and maybe one of them's more balanced, it doesn't make both those parents wrong parents. There's always that one that's always trying to do the right thing. Right? So only time will tell what was destroyed in a person's character. Only time's gonna tell. So this video is for just reminding, not condemning anybody, but reminding people that children are a blessing, and they can be a huge blessing later on if you feed them correctly. You feed them correctly. You don't hinder them. You let them grow, but you're there to help encourage them. You know, elevate their minds. That's what I care the most about, is protecting a child's soul, even an adult. Like, I just love people's souls deeply, to where I want to be there to be that person that's like, keep going. You're doing amazing. You might have a mistake. You might fall, but just get back up. Just keep going. Don't let that crap consume you. Don't become that. Break the generational curse. Always be observant on what people are talking about, how people's actions are. Like, if they're encouraging you to go down a bad path, you just grab hold of that thought, observe that thought, and elevate that. Don't let that stuff take you down, because I know many people in my life where that mentality has just decapitated people, basically, to where they have no head in mind, like no crown in their mind to overcome obstacles in their life. They justify things. They're very carnal in their way of thinking, and they have been in it so long that they'll literally justify that. They'll find all sorts of excuses. They'll find any type of video that justifies it for them in their lives, instead of just overcoming it, really battling and fighting that flesh. Because our spirit, man, it battles this carnal, this flesh, because I have it too. There's a desire in me that wants to just, you know, I go through so much of my own inner war that I face in my life that I want to self-soothe sometimes. I want to pick up a video game to take my mind away from what's going on. But instead, my spirit's like, no, that ain't going to do nothing. That's just going to numb you. And I don't want to be like that song, Comfortably Numb. I want to fix this issue right now. So I want to go on YouTube. I want to research anything and everything that I possibly can to help the circumstance that I'm facing. I don't want to lull myself to sleep. I don't want to keep myself so busy to where I'm not overcoming my thoughts on what I need to go through. You know, I just want to elevate my mind, and I don't want to stay stagnant. I want to be the best version of me that I can be. This is a lot of people say, oh, you only live once, so enjoy it while you can. To me, that is so true, but you want to do that in such a way to where you experience this life by getting yourself together, not making yourself fall apart, and accepting that and just living life and just drowning yourself out thinking that that's the big party. That's what you do. It's not about that. It's about elevating yourself, overcoming things, overcoming generational curses, breaking the habits so that way the future generation ain't following those patterns that we grew up in, and helping elevate other people. Being there for other people, showing love, showing grace, showing mercy to other people, even though they might not feel like they deserve it. But it's just doing the human thing for other people so that way they can have a chance, if they might have messed up, that they can gather their pieces. You know what I mean? It's like you want to be there for people. No matter how much that person thinks they don't deserve it, you want to be there to help them. That's another thing I can go into talking about, is what you could do for people that might not feel that they deserve your good deed. It's not about you. It's about what God is doing in that season of their brokenness, and how they can use someone like you to help be a saving grace in their life, so that way they can see that the whole time it was always Christ in their life, but it just took a long time for them to see it. Everything good that I've done for people, it's not from me. It's because of the work that I put in with God in me, that is God in me, that is helping that person. I don't take no credit for nothing. I am not the type of person I am if it wasn't for God. And everything I'm speaking about, I also speak it into myself. I always am aware of, am I planting good seeds in my kids or in people? I'm always being mindful and aware of what I'm trying to do. I have to every day, daily, I have to operate in love. It's a really hard thing, especially in this world, because people could be very cruel. People can do things that are very manipulative, and they don't even understand that they're operating in that type of spirit. They don't understand what they're doing, or they might know what they're doing, but they just don't care. And so my type of mind frame is, I have to love people regardless. And it's a hard thing to really turn yourself into this. It's a daily thing that you have to do every day. And I feel horrible because I haven't been speaking what I know inside of me for a while. I should have been doing this the whole time, making videos, sharing my mind, my evolution of my growth in my mind. But I've been going through my own stuff in my life, to where sometimes it's a battle. It's really hard to fight through this and to speak up when your voice shakes. It's really hard. And I hope that by me being authentic, it helps other people do the same thing. But I just felt like venting that out.